The safety of our pets and our livestock are in danger. We have heard multiple times that the biosecurity has been a controversial issue for American farmers. Now, there is a new threat. These diseases that used to only be spread between livestock are now able to transfer to canines as well. The canine virus is just one more example of how big of an issue biosecurity has become. Let's take a step back and look at what canine virus really is. Canine virus is a highly contagious virus spreading through canines in the United States. Here's a little backstory on the virus. The first case of the virus was reported only 5 years ago in 2004. During the outbreak in 2004, at a Florida Greyhound track, 8 of the 22 dogs infected died. Since then, the virus has slowly been spreading through the canine population for the last 10 years. Symptoms of the disease include coughing and gagging for up to 3 weeks and a high fever. Some may even go to develop viral pneumonia if not cared for properly. The proper way to treat the illness is with antibiotics and intravenous fluids. The antibiotics prevent the infected canine from picking something else up while battling the disease, and the intravenous fluids work to prevent dehydration. So what exactly is this disease? The canine virus is very similar to influenza viruses in other species. It is an acute respiratory disease infection with signs similar to respiratory disease. Its official name is influenza A, subtype H3N8. We know a little about the disease, but how is it spread? It is spread through respiratory secretions, for example, coughing, barking, or sneezing, as well as contaminated surfaces like food and water bowls, and leashes and collars. This is a community-acquired infection. The disease is easily spread when there is a large number of dogs together in one area. This means that dogs that are kept in shelter, veterinary clinics, boarding or training facilities, or pet stores are at the highest risk of contracting the disease. However, it can also be spread from just a couple of dogs casually walking past each other if one is infected. It can latch onto clothing, and we can carry it from place to place for up to 24 hours. Next, we will look at where this strain of virus came from. There is a very large concern for whether this virus could infect other species. The canine virus is a mutated influenza virus that stemmed from horses. The H3N8 represents a very rare event in adaptive evolution. The entire genome of the H3N8 equine influenza virus was transferred to dogs. The virus then adapted to the canine species to emerge as a new virus specific to canines. It was never deemed possible before that the virus could be spread to anything but livestock. Since 2004, there have been several documented cases of the virus in canines. This has put many on edge because there is now a question of whether or not a strain could mutate to become human-specific like it did canine-specific. As of now, this is still not possible, but the spark of concern has led to more research on the issue. Which brings us back to the threat of biosecurity and how to prevent diseases like this from spreading. First off, biosecurity is the procedures intended to protect humans and animals against disease or any other harmful biological agents. This has been a big issue for farmers in the past and is still a controversial topic. We can use this disease as just one more example of how carelessness can easily spread deadly diseases from species to species. We now know a little bit about the disease and where it came from, but now let's talk about how we can prevent the spread of this disease. How can we prevent the spread of this disease? The first thing that you can do is vaccinate your animal. This is the number one way to prevent your animals as well as others from contracting the disease. It is also a matter of what we can do as humans to prevent any further contamination. Spread of this strain usually happens when there are a lot of dogs present. It is important to wash your hands when you have visited a shelter or kennel because you could be carrying the disease on your hands or clothing. It is also important to not bring a sick animal into a public place. The virus can easily be spread and there are multiple dogs together, and bringing a sick animal is almost guaranteeing the transmission. Use your best judgment when taking your animals in public. You never know what another animal is carrying. And if your animal isn't feeling well, you do not bring them where there will be a lot of other animals coming in and out. This goes the same when traveling to other farms. It is important when you are at an unfamiliar farm or shelter to take the proper precautions so that you don't bring any diseases home with you. The canine virus has been a good example of how big of a problem biosecurity has become. The biosecurity of humans and animals everywhere needs to be protected, and it is our job to do so. This can be done by finding ways to prevent the spread of canine virus, and furthermore, diseases between all animals, livestock and non-livestock alike.